Hi, guys. Welcome back to Hear Our Voices. Thank you for coming back to our podcast. Thank you for being a part of our family. So, I have some housekeeping to do first. In some of the videos before, we didn't have a Twitter account or IG when we first initially made the podcast, but now we do. So, all the links are down below if you want to follow us on Instagram and Twitter. You can help us tweet out our episodes and also have conversations on there. And we also post different informations about different things happening in the homeless community in the shelters in New York City. So if you have information that you want to give or can help other people, definitely inbox me there because it's not a comment section that I see on here. I'm fairly new to this platform, so I'm trying to learn it myself. So if you want to tweet me or inbox me at Twitter or Instagram, you can do that anytime. If you have an organization that you want to shout out or want us to get more information and want to be a part of our whole family over here of our one of our episodes on here, we can definitely get that on for you. Also, if you're a person who's listening and who went through this experience, who's either in a shelter right now or has been in a shelter and want to be interviewed to come on here, we are welcoming all submissions. So guys, sit back and relax and enjoy the rest of Sara's story. This next little tidbit is gonna be really nice. It's gonna be interesting, and I hope you enjoy yourself. Thank you, and I see you in the next podcast.
I had mice in my room. So imagine.
I'm not surprised.
Yes. Yo. Literally, like, oh my gosh. And imagine it being a tiny room with mice and mice. Like, it's not even where the mice is able to spread out and just go somewhere else. Like, they're literally around you. And it caused my son to have a walking delay because I did not want to put him on that floor. I just
believe you.
Oh my gosh, like the development of your child and then they look at you like you're the problem.
Exactly. Like this is my place. This is your spot to clean up. Make sure everybody else around me is clean.
Exactly. Like I would have put my son on the floor 50,000 times if the floor was not, and the freaking curtains was like clean, and you guys like fix the AC, like just things like that. Like they come in, they had somebody exterminating. That didn't fix the problem. I still got I got a hole in my Vans from the mice biting. Are you
serious?
Yes, I swear. And I'm
the mice was hungry.
Yo, definitely. Like I'm telling you, like, and you know what, I'm an aesthetic person. So a hole in my Vans, like I was like, fuck, they look cute. Like I didn't let things stop me. You got what I'm saying? Like I just walked around like nonchalant in that sense. Like, you know what? I gotta get out of here. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not gonna let people see me fold. You know what I'm saying? Like I tried to keep my head up, and it was just a lot of things going on. Clogged toilet. Oh my gosh, if you got a clogged toilet, don't expect them to come for like days to
you know, you should have done call 311. Because when I had to in my apartment, I called 311. I was like, my leaky faucet, my room good had roaches. First it was good, then it had roaches.
Oh my gosh.
So because of that, I said no. First of all, my door was over 2, so I'm not even supposed to be in that room in the first place. I was like, my faucet is not good and it was leaking. They came in my room and said, it's not leaking. Did you turn on the water? No. How are you gonna see it was leaking unless you turn on the water? What are you doing? So you're friend when you're in the shelter. 311.
No, because literally the fact that you said that reminded me, because I almost forgot. It reminded me because the elevator was really not working multiple times, and imagine a bunch of females, because it was a lot of women. I only saw like a lot of women there, so not everybody had a partner to help them go up the stairs. You got what I'm saying? And none of them would offer to help You get what I'm saying? Whenever I could help, I would help. Whenever my husband could help, he would help. You get what I'm saying? But it was so hard. And then once, like, I completely lost it after the third time the elevator was broken. They didn't fix it for a while. I called 311. I called 311, and they was like, they tried to ask me for my name and stuff, and I was like, I can't do that. Like, I can't.
I don't care. I be telling my name. I tell them my room number. I'm on the first floor. I'm on the third floor. You know my name. I don't play.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. No, literally, that's how it was. Like, but me, I'm an anxious person, like, as well. Like, being in the shelter, it like triggered a lot of my mental, like, illnesses that I had. So it made it like worse, and it was just not a happy place to be in. I was very miserable every single day. I was crying. I did not want to be there. And basically, I want to know, like, have you ever been like in a shelter where you just smell like a bunch of smoke, and you smell like people just didn't care, like, of the building type of thing?
Surprisingly, I haven't. I see people do, like, I didn't see fights, but I heard about the fights, and the police will come to the place. And my shelter, we actually had metal detectors. They're known to be a bad shelter. Like, fights always breaking out, people always going to the hospital. I used to live in the Landing in Queens, and it was just known. Like, you would ask. I went to emergency room one time, and they said, "Oh yeah, we know that shelter." I'm like, wow. For people to know, and the hospital's not that close to the place. Probably the closest one to that shelter, though. Probably that's why they know so many people who live there. But it says stuff is always happening there. I'm like, wow, that's crazy. That this is about that life.
Yeah, literally. And I say that because I have this lady who was like staying in a room next to me, and she was an addict, and I would always hear the baby crying like nonstop. I didn't think anything of it because, it was just a newborn baby, and babies could be colicky. I didn't think in my brain anything. And she would go, you would smell smoke. People used to smoke downstairs in the third. We were on the third floor, so it'd be on the second and fourth, like up and down. And the firefighters used to come all the time too. And so, like I was saying, how I've been in situations where I used to get into an argument, but there was this one specific worker who basically, like, I felt her energy in a way. And I remember, like, I was standing one time, she kind of bumped me into my shoulder, but she didn't say sorry or anything. I let that go because I really do not, like, I don't like confrontation. It's not that I'm afraid. It's not that none of that. It's when you have a mental illness, and a lot of people could vouch for me, you want to avoid, like, a lot of things make you more anxious. You get what I'm saying? Where you try to hold how you feel. So it was kind of that situation. And basically, I don't even like talking about it, but just I want to put my story out there because I want people to understand when you walk into the shelter, they are paying attention to you. And they are, like, a lot of people would just look at you and not like you just because they just have this image of you, just because you're in the shelter, that you're not worth anything, you're a bum, you're this, you're that. Like, literally, I've got called that. And so basically, this person, she basically, she had stated to someone that okay, let me just give a back check, because even the people in the shelter knew my routine. I'm not gonna hide it. I smoke weed. You know what I'm saying? Because it helps my anxiety, and it helps with, and I have a medical card, just to put that out there, with what's going on with me. And I used to take a break when, like, my son was sleeping, like at night, it would be like like about 11, 12, every single night. I would go the same way they would go outside and do the same thing, the workers. And I would take like a little break, and I would always go back inside. That was a routine for me, every day. And it was always at night because it helps me go to sleep, because I have insomnia as well. So basically one day, I guess my husband, like, he had, some recreational marijuana on him. And basically, she asked him, "Oh, are you smoking?" And because, if you have something, it smells a little bit. She asked him, are you smoking in the room? Like, in the room? He said, "No, I'm not smoking in the room." She took it upon herself, because I already felt that animosity towards her and just things that were like accumulating. She called ACS on me, which was like the most craziest thing, because
Wow.
yeah, which was the most craziest things, because there's literally, I've seen nothing but addicts in that hotel that we were staying in, nothing but like people like fighting, screaming. So they almost upstairs, there was almost a fire, the fire of people, which I think that the smell will kind of circulate to everywhere. You got what I'm saying? But like I said, this person, I knew her game, and that's why it didn't work. When she did try to do that, it didn't work. So I had a situation with that, and it really brought me to a dark place, because I've done everything that I can in my power to take care of my child. If anybody knows me, knows I'm the best mother you ever, like, you know what I'm saying? You would see me in those holy vans, and my son, it's I make sure he's good. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
so through that situation, it broke me in half. Like, I was crying. I was like, how could this happen to me? Like, why am I going through this? Like, as soon as I go to a shelter, this is happening to me. Or for somebody being petty. And like I said, me and her, after that situation, me and her like was like about to like fight, because I'm not a fighting person, but it was like that situation. Like I said, I wish I would have done things differently, just ignored. But I just feel like something like that, like it just, you just can't ignore that, you just, something like that. Like, I had to say something, and it was really, really bad. And she kept saying like a bunch of things. And mind you, that night, after that situation had happened, the people who worked there knocked on my door, and they tried to say, while I was sleeping, and they tried to say that, oh, because you know how some shelters, like I forgot to mention, they but they book hotels rooms with people who are not staying in the shelter, so it's half and half. It will be a shelter, and it will also be a regular hotel. So they used to
heard
have,
about those. I heard about
yeah,
those.
that's the one that I was staying in, and now they're full blown shelter. But before, they tried to accuse me of going. Oh my gosh, when I think about it, it's hilarious. They tried, because if I would have did it, I would have said I would have did it. Like, but they tried to accuse me of eating the guest food. Do you hear that?
Are you
Like,
serious? I'm done.
Yes. Like, I'm telling you, it was literally insane. And I'm like, what the? My husband was like, what the heck? She was literally in bed, because he's up early. He would go early every day, like around 6, to take a walk, to like do like a run or a walk. And
Yeah.
he knew I was sleeping, and he was like, what? Like, my well, let me tell, she was like, let me tell you something, my wife does not get up from this bed, has not gotten up from this bed, and I'm here to witness that. And they just didn't want to hear. And I'm like, and I was like, you know what? Like, the next day when I woke up, I told someone, I was like, can I please see your cameras? Like, I want to see the cameras of you saying that I did that. That's how confident I was in, like, this is outrageous. After a situation, a traumatizing situation that happened to me that night, you go and you do something. And I know it was her who probably said that, because it just makes sense, So there was a lot of people, like I'm saying, like, people just look at you and just like, just so mean, like,
Yeah.
so mean, like, for no reason. And that's one incident I got into. But thank God I don't have that situation anymore. Like, it was never gonna work, because it was never true, because like they with those type of situations, it was, I wouldn't say like want to explain it. They just knew that it was a false accusation, basically. Let's just sum it up like that. And everything got dismissed, basically. It was just the whole point of going through something like that because I'm not that type of person. And I feel like my character was diminished. I felt so like, what the heck, you know? But that was the first situation. And then the second situation, don't be surprised if someone, if any of you people who are listening to this, any of you families, don't be surprised if you end up getting into argument with the cleaning lady. Cause
I'm
like
done.
I'm telling you, like it was crazy because literally I had told her because my son he got very sick. He and the air conditioner was on and I had to tell her like when the child is sick, you can't have the AC on. You know what I'm saying? Like it wasn't like I couldn't have the AC on, and I kept trying to explain that to her. She got all fussy about it, and we started arguing about the situation. And I was just like, how are you getting mad over that? You know what I'm saying? And just the way that they talk to you, oh, I'm not gonna argue with no B from the shelter, like things that they say. She told me you Spanish bees, like she was just saying a bunch of like crazy things to me, like just
Wow.
yeah, like completely ripping me like to shreds from there. And I was just like, listen, I'm not even. And after that, that's when I just started cleaning my own room. That's when I was just like, you know what, this is why I don't like nobody in my space. This is why, of course, I was already cleaning my room, but I meant as far as I don't need them to clean my room. I don't need them to come in to put on my own sheets. I could do that myself. You know what I'm saying? Because they tried to say one time like it's mandatory and they have to, but no, I wasn't with any of that. I don't know these ladies. I don't know what these ladies could be judging us, but what are you doing when you're in my room? You got what I'm saying? I don't know what's going on when I'm not there and you're in my room. So I just told them like I don't want to, like, you know, the only time I would let them come in is if they had to vacuum the floor because it was rugged and there was mice in there. So I had to just do that. As far as everything, I just stayed away after that. it was really hard. Yeah. And the case manager, situations with the case manager, she didn't even tell me I had a voucher until 2 months after that.
What?
Yep.
Oh
She
my
did not.
gosh.
Yep. She did not tell me. I kid you not. She didn't tell me. I
Oh
was
my gosh.
furious. I was furious, and I'm like, you know what? I won't say nothing. I'm not gonna say anything. I just let it go. Like I literally let it go. But it was so messed up because I could have been out of there earlier. But at the end of the day, God works in mysterious ways, and everything happened for a reason. So basically like when they tell you what voucher you qualify for, when that situation came about, she told me what voucher I did qualify for, which was either the city feps, and that was it. They didn't tell me that I could do a soda program. If I would have known I was like, she just didn't tell me the proper information because they offer anybody when they go in the shelter, they offer you a soda program. If you want to move out of the state for a year, they'll pay you. You just gotta have a job out there. You just gotta be settled out there. But it was just a lack of communication, not telling me all my options, just saying, "Oh, you have this, and that's it." I didn't only have that; I had more to it. Because if I would have known I had that, I wouldn't even be in New York. You know, so it was just things like that. Also, she did offer me. It was just one other thing. It's like people who have a mental illness, because it was on my records, that they have special housing for people who have mental illnesses, and basically they pay 30 you they pay for this for you living in the shelter, I think for like, she's apparently, from her, she said forever, basically, you know, up until like, you know, like just always, they're always gonna pay for it. And there's just always like somebody, basically those type of housing, there's always someone on site for when, you know, you're going through your situation. So they have those housing as well available for people, just in case anybody didn't know. Neither, all you just need is like your proof of your mental illnesses and things like that.
I don't know if you want to get into it, but I do want to ask. You don't tell us what you have per se, but if you could tell us how did it affect you, probably being a person who has mental illnesses, how did it affect you being in the shelter?
Oh yeah, definitely. I actually posted a video. That's crazy that you said that. I actually posted a video, but I put it on private just because, like, I don't know, like I just put it on private after I spoke about it. But it's not easy. And mind you, I don't just have like one mental illness. I have three. So I have anxiety, OCD, and PTSD. So all of that, comes from like upbringing and things that I've been through. And being in a shelter, it triggered every single one of those. Like, and I just found myself I literally found myself where I wanted to I don't like saying it because like it sounds like so but like that's not, I just want disclaimer, that's not how I feel anymore. Like I've moved on. Like my life is like very good right now, going very good. But I found myself like at a place where I just wanted to kill myself. Like I despised it. Like that's how bad it was. Like I probably still have some like scars like on my arms and stuff. Like it was very, very hard for me. And that's why I say like, because I'm not the only one. I'm literally not the only one. There are so many people out there who suffer from mental illness, and especially when you're mixing and triggering things like, especially in the shelter. I know there's a bunch of people who suffer from mental illness and they're living in the shelter. And I know every day it is not easy. It's only harder and harder and harder. But I want to be the one of many as an example that if I can do this, I know you can do this as well. And I will never say it's easy because it is not easy. And you can and possibly fall so many times during the process, but don't beat yourself up about it, because mental illness, people think that you can just control that. People think that, oh, you can control it, like you can control it, like if I can do it, you can do it. No, it doesn't work like that. Everybody, it's a chemical imbalance in your brain, and people suffer from it in different ways, and people handle it and cope with it in different ways. And having a child when dealing with that, oh my Lord, it's tested me so many times. And the crazy thing is after I had my child is when everything started happening. My anxiety, my PTSD, and my OCD. I had postpartum basically. So I had postpartum depression while I was also in the shelter, mixed with all those other things. And it was so freaking hard. I kid you not. But thank the Lord, I had God on my side and I had my husband, and I wasn't going through it alone. And I was fortunate enough to have that. And I know there's a lot of people who don't have that. And that's why I know it's like really, really, really hard. But I promise you, it's gonna get better. Like I promise you, like you will not be there forever. There's people, I can tell you this right now, there's people in the shelter that want to be there. Like literally, I've been in the shelter and I've seen that there's people that actually want to be there. And there's people that don't want to leave the shelter. There's people that got comfortable. You know what I'm saying? And I just want people to know, don't get comfortable. It's not a good feeling. I'm telling you, just don't get comfortable. And I'm it's like really hard to talk about because I don't know how to like say it, because I don't really broadcast my mental illnesses. So forgive my stuttering, because that's also like I start stuttering and stuff when I get like anxious about things. But yeah, so that's pretty much what I was going through and how like
You did great. I didn't hear any stuttering. You're fine. I do have anxiety myself.
Yeah.
So I definitely understand. I think I have it more for certain situations, so like doctors and sometimes crowds. I'm a theater person, so I definitely could understand. And like I'm racing mile a minute. I'm trying to get it, out the way. But I do thank you for sharing your story. another thing, because you did say it earlier that life is so much better now. Can you give us an update about how your life is right now and how you're going and things like that?
So basically, yes, I can. Basically, now I'm in a better like situation. Like, I'm now at a point where like I got settled into my apartment, and it's been a weird situation because I'm not used to like having my own like place and just like just having your own stuff, like, but this
When did
is
you move
where
out of the shelter and how long were you there? Sorry to interrupt.
no, it's okay. I'm okay, so I went into the shelter towards the end of August, and I left in January. So I came in August, left in January, signed my lease the end of January, because the process, they got to do an inspection, they have to get papers and documents sent over, and that could take about 1 to 2 weeks or to a month. Um, so yeah, I signed my apartment then, and you can also check out, everybody that's listening on my YouTube, I have the video of moving in.
Cool.
But this is where people think, okay, I don't want to explain it. So when you're moving in with like having a voucher, there are some, I would advise you not to have a landlord. I'm just keeping it 1,000. Like, where my mistake is that I jumped in like so fast, but it's like, how could you not, like, you're getting an apartment thrown at you, especially when you don't have credit, when you don't have these things and you're young. It was hard not to take it, and especially the situation that I was going through, I just took it. But I would advise a lot of people, just don't settle for less like I did. My apartment is like, don't get me wrong, my apartment is very nice and I'm so grateful. It's just the landlord, you get what I'm saying? It's just what has been going on inside my apartment, things that are not being fixed, that are supposed to be fixed, a lot of things that's just been happening. And because they think when you're young, and I'm speaking to a lot of like young parents who end up moving in, and if you end up coming about the situation, that you don't know, you get what I'm saying? They think because you're young that they can play you, or they think that you don't know certain things, so they can just speak for you in certain situations. I don't know if you like understand like you understand what I'm saying, right?
I understand what you're saying. Definitely.
Yeah. So it was just it's very complicated now, but I'm still like I'm still doing good. Like, I'm still doing good regardless of anything. But I would just like advise people, don't jump at the first thing that you see. Just give more research into it until your like gut feels like, yeah, this is where I want to move. This is what I want to do. Because I promise you, God has opportunities for every single body, and you will always get your blessing. Like, I promise you. But yeah, so it's been now it's about to make almost 2 years that I've been there. But God has blessed me so much where I plan on now looking for like a new apartment, because there's a lot of times where people move in and people don't know how to go about like as well, like transferring, because transferring is also another issue that happens too when you have a voucher. And a lot of people like find themselves having a need to transfer, because you could think one place is so good until you've actually lived there like for so long. But I just always like go to a home base, like if you're thinking about transferring too, just to give some like information. Go to a home base, they can help you with that as well. Call the city fab
Yes.
center, they can help you with that as well. Because I know I have this group on Facebook, and I see a lot of people like they have a vouchers and they're going through so much things like in their apartment, like things falling apart and they can't move and just stuff like that, like a lot of messed up things. And they think that they can play you, because at the end of the day, they're receiving their checks from the government. They don't like, they just like have this like people,
Mentality.
yeah, people just always judging you because of that. And at this point, it's like, I just want to just like, don't be mad because I have one and you don't, like, that's how I feel at this point, like. But I'm now like in a place where like now I'm able to like do more things and like not rely as much as I needed to on the voucher anymore. Like I'm at that place where like I'm blessed enough,
Congrats.
So thank you. But yeah, so I just like I want everybody that situation to go through, but everybody will get through it in that shelter. Everybody will make it out. I promise you.
I think people think that the reason why we're in the shelter is that we don't care about ourselves and our kids, and that, oh, we're not good enough, we don't have money. You get up in the shelter for a lot of different things. And a lot of times, a lot of people, especially in New York City, live from paycheck to paycheck. And especially when the rent is going up, it's hard to do that. And the reason why we do go in the shelter is because we want a better life for our children. Not because we want to be lazy. We want a better life for our kids.
Yes. And you know what's crazy? People also forget that a lot of people as well that are in the shelter is because their lights shut off. They have no hot water. They like there's more to it that people think, or they got evicted. Like there's not just, oh, you don't have money. There's a lot of, first of all, there's most of the people that are in the shelter have jobs. They have jobs. Like that's what's crazy about it. Like all of them have jobs, and you have to, and regardless of anything, when you're dealing with like a public, because you need a public assistance case. I totally forgot to mention that.
Yes, you do.
Yes, you need a public assistance case. That's where the city FEPS voucher comes from. So yeah, like I literally just forgot my train of thought just now. Like I literally forgot. That's what I'm saying. Like with anxiety, like you just forget sometimes. So could you like remind me what I was saying? I'm sorry.
No problem. I think you were saying you could go different reasons of being in the shelter.
Yeah.
The lights and stuff like that.
Yes. So basically they just have this perspective of people, and that's just not what it is. That's just not what it is. And everybody needs to start. I just think that everybody in this world in general needs to be more informed about certain things like that, because without you knowing like the situation, like a path, like without knowing this actual information, you're just going to go about judging people and just go about looking at people in certain ways without even knowing, you know what I'm saying? I just feel like it should be more funded as well. There should be the path should be very more funded, as in like more donating, more like I don't know the word for it, like just so people could have better places to stay. Let's just put it that way. Where we're not going into a situation where there's mice or you're such in a tiny room. There has to, look at how we live in New York City. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We live in a place where there are so many buildings and there's so much more land that can be put to use. And a lot of these things are not being put to use the proper way. You have a lot of, I'm not saying gentrification is not, I'm not saying it's bad, but it's kind of bad, it's bad. And for the simple fact is that just, oh Lord, I don't even want to get into that whole, but it's just how like it's just like, because I know it could be a very, very touchy subject, but when you're in this situation, it's the truth. You're moving in a bunch of gentrification people, let's just call them that. And you're forgetting about the people who've lived here for years. You got what I'm saying? The people who, this is our home type of thing. And you should help the people who have been living here for so long.
Buying from the stores.
Yes.
Making sure, you get money in your pocket because we're paying your rent. Things like that, Come on.
Yeah. And I just hope that we come like, because I know now, they're doing elections for a new mayor and things like that. So I just hope, let's just hope moving forward, because I hear a lot of things about no affordable housing and stuff like that. Let's just hope that that happens, because even with NYCHA, that was what I was praying for, that I got. That's what I wanted originally. I wanted NYCHA, but it is so hard. So I think I'm still on the waiting list.
You have to update it every couple of months. That's why, girl, don't try to live in NYCHA. I live in NYCHA now.
Really?
I'm happy. I feel, I don't know if you get this. Like, I feel bad complaining about my apartment because I came from the shelter, and it's like, this is better than shelter, so you shouldn't complain.
Yeah, but you know what you deserve at the end of the day.
Exactly. I don't like elevators breaking down every minute. Like, I'm up for that. You know what I'm saying? If I have groceries, how am I gonna get up all them stairs with the broken elevator? How in the wintertime I don't have heat? How? And I mean, literally, only one part of my apartment, 2 parts of my apartment have heat. Why is water off in the wintertime? Why is there not hot water? So people think that, it's best rent in NYCHA, but I want heat in the winter. When it's 2 degrees outside, I think I deserve at least 20% heat. Like, I'm not even asking for the whole 9.
Yeah, no, you do deserve, definitely.
Exactly.
And I don't want people to like that, because you know how some people are. They'll be like, "Oh, just be grateful, just be grateful." No,
exactly.
You don't have to be grateful. Like, not that you don't have to be grateful, but you don't have to settle for less. Right. You don't have to settle for BS. And just because you're in that situation, you shouldn't like lower your standards. You get what I'm saying? Like I was saying when I said, don't jump at the first thing that comes, always think about it before you do it, but
honestly, I'm not gonna lie to you. I saw the apartment for NYCHA, and the person, because my case manager came with me. My housing specialist.
Yeah.
And he told me, out of the apartments he have seen, this is a big apartment. Now, mind you, I have a 1-bedroom. I have a daughter, so and she's not 6 until August, so I couldn't get a 2-bedroom because she's a girl. If she was a boy, I would have got a 2-bedroom. Literally, I did my interview for NYCHA the week before, and the next week they was calling me to come in, which from what I hear is very fast. But I made sure I bring in every document they asked for. I made sure I brought in every single thing. At the time I was married, to bring that paperwork in to make sure they couldn't, prolong the process. I didn't want that to happen. But I took the first thing he told me, because he, they get to go to all the apartments with people. So he told me what he's seen is very good, and it was newly renovated. You could tell that they put on a fresh coat of paint. Like it was, I think the stove wasn't, it's either the stove or the fridge wasn't here. The stove was new, the fridge was new. They're not gonna give you the best quality of these things, but it's still, it was new. I think the person before me was living here for a while, and you could tell that certain things were new in the apartment, like paint and stuff. It's not like it was like most, Hilton of apartments is still NYCHA. But he said take what you can get. The lady was telling me they don't know when they'll be able to show me another apartment if I even get one even in this area or any. And I know people like this. So I took the first thing, knowing that said long once you're in NYCHA, is even though it's hard to get transferred, it's easier to move around when you're in the system that part already. If you're out of it trying to come in, I think it's harder for you to get an apartment.
I think with NYCHA though, there's an exception, because I do agree with when for NYCHA is just different, because like you were saying, the process is different. NYCHA is like an absolute rent controlled thing,
right?
Like I know somebody that only pays $200 in rent in a big 1-bedroom of apartment, like things, and they pay for everything, like light, heat, everything. So that's definitely. Let me
unless you have a washing machine, you gotta pay like $4 a month or $5.
That is a blessing. That is a blessing. Let me tell you, that's one of so much, because now I gotta pay all this utilities and all these things, and then him telling me he told me I can't have a washing machine. I bought a portable washing machine right the next day.
I don't blame you.
Because like COVID happened and all these things, and they try to tell you, oh, you can't have this, you can't know. And especially now, I have like mice in my apartment right now.
Oh man.
Like, yes, and thank God I have cats, because he tried to tell me I can't have cats, but thank God for my cats, because they're on it every single time. That's why I don't worry about them at all, because they're literally cleaning them up for me every single time. I haven't seen one in a while now, and that's thank God for my cats. And he needs to be thanking God too. And the funny part is that I live on top of a church, girl.
Oh wow.
I live on top of a church, and he is the pastor. He's the one that rented the apartment to me.
Oh wow.
And and you will really see someone's true colors, because the person that I know of him is nowhere near pastor. Nowhere near. I see a
Wow.
money hungry. Yep, I see a money hungry person, and it sickens me because I believe in God. I read the Bible. I go to church, and it's crazy to me. Like, you know, like it's just crazy to me. Like, you really see how people really are when you live with them.
That's
You know,
true.
so it's like it's crazy, but I'm I'm not doing too bad. You know, I can't complain. That's what I'm trying to say.
I understand. But do you have any last words for the viewers? Well, not viewers, podcasters. I don't know what you call them.
The listeners.
Right.
The
Thank you.
listeners. Oh, you're welcome. Yeah. Basically, keep your head up. I'm telling you, you will get through this. Like, I love supporting women. I love supporting families. I love supporting everybody, you know? And when it comes to this situation, I love being able to help because not there's you, there's me who do YouTube and who put this information out because I don't see anybody else besides I think one other YouTuber, but she's not enough. She's like a couple married with somebody, so it's different in a way. I more so give information on families because that's what I know, you know, best about. And like me and you, there's not a lot of people to give that information. You know what I'm saying? Like at all. Like I feel like what you do and what I do when we put this type of information out, because even though I still haven't been updated with my YouTube, I still receive messages daily.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I still receive messages and I still put effort into whatever I'm doing. I stop what I'm doing. I sit there for like about 20 minutes just writing paragraphs of how to help somebody. Like that's how much I care and that's how much I want to help people. And I'm just glad that I'm able to share. I'm glad you guys reached out to me again. And so I could just say my piece again, but this time I was able to like share thoroughly because the last time it was more so like it was more so like a fast, it was more so like a fast thing, like moving on type of thing. But now it's like I get to speak thoroughly, I get to say more things, and I get to be a part of something where I could share my full story. And I think that's amazing. And I think you guys starting this podcast is really amazing too, because now people can just, you guys are on Apple Music now? I mean,
I'm
Apple.
sorry?
You guys are doing the podcast on Apple?
It's going to go on there, right? As I said before, it's not going to launch until September. But it's going to go right now on Anchor. And then it's going to go to Spotify. And I think Spotify is Apple. I'm not even sure. I don't really know the podcast world as much. I know I watch, I listen to stuff on the Apple podcast, but it's also be able to share out to both of those things. So
yeah,
it goes.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited for you guys. I'm so excited for everybody to hear my story, my version, and I hope. I know I'm not the only one, right? That you guys are asked for the information.
No, you're not the only one. Hold on for a second, Sara. So, guys, thank you for listening to the podcast. Thank you for hearing her story. And I hope you can identify and know when you see a person who is homeless, don't look down on them and don't make them feel away like they're not human, but they are. So,
yeah,
guys,
totally.
Yes. So, talk to you guys later.
Thank you guys so much.
Yeah. See you in the next one. And yeah. Bye. Thanks for hearing our voices.